Hello everyone, welcome to Low Desert Love. Today I'm going to walk you through the installation and build of my DIY PVC drainage system for the square foot style garden. These are very common, they're used all over, they're cheap, they're comparatively cheap, they're relatively easy, they're a little bit time consuming, not too bad. There's a couple things you're going to need to build one of these systems. First, you're going to need a layout. This is the layout of my garden, marked up with the layout of the drip system. Now, you don't need something this technical. Really, you could do this sketched out on a napkin. What you need to know is how much length of PVC you're going to need and how many of the different connectors you're going to need. You're going to need a PVC cutter. Now there are electric tools you can use to cut PVC, but this is by far the easiest. You're going to need your PVC. My garden has very large runs. I have 7-foot runs of PVC and I have 10-foot runs of PVC. Because I am using such long runs, I am using 3/4 inch Schedule 40 PVC. If you were doing a smaller run, like a 4x4 bed or 6x6 bed, you would not need 3/4 inch. You could easily do 1/2 inch Schedule 40 PVC. It's really just going to depend on how large the length of your PVC needs to be. There's a couple different kind of connectors you're going to need. Elbows for the corners, T's for the middle, and whatever the heck this thing is called, it's I don't know, I call it a wonky T. It's not a straight T, it's a, I don't know, I probably should have read the box when I got there. But these guys, you'll need one of these for each system. My bed has 4 of these systems in it, 4 of these setups, so I needed 4 of these. The next piece you're going to need, and the last piece you're going to need, is this guy. This is a hose connector. This little piece here screws onto your generic, everyday hose out of the side of your house, garden hose, okay? You screw your garden hose into this, you connect it to your system. I will literally walk you through that. Tape measure is going to come in very handy. Can you eyeball making this? Absolutely. Do I recommend it? I'm not that kind of person, but it's totally possible just to eyeball it. Why Schedule 40? Your pipe needs to do 2 things for you. 1, it needs to handle the amount of water pressure you're putting through it, and it needs to handle the temperature of the Arizona sun. In a square foot gardening system, your irrigation goes on top of your mulch. Does it have to? Probably not, but generally that's where it goes to avoid accidentally plugging up your irrigation holes. It needs to handle being in the sun for a very, very long time. Now, drilling the holes. For a standard square foot garden, you drill your holes 2 inches apart. Do they have to be exactly 2 inches apart? No. Could you eyeball drilling your holes 2 inches apart all the way down your pipe? Absolutely. However, it is important, if you are doing that you drill them in a straight line. If you don't drill them in a straight line, when you install your pipe, you're going to have water shooting out, like the fountains in Vegas. They're going to go every which way. Instead of aiming at the ground, they could be spraying on your plants, they could be spraying on, the outside of your bed even. So if you're going to eyeball it, just make sure you're eyeballing it in a straight line down that PVC run. Size of the holes. A 3/32 drill bit. This seems to be the standard size for drip line style systems like this. Oh look, it's my cat. And that's it. That's all the pieces you need. Some connector pieces, the actual PVC, your drill, and your drill bit. Now, I used a drill press. I am blessed to have a husband who has tools, and I will put that video in here. You do not need a drill press to make this system. You can absolutely 100% use a handheld electric drill to drill the holes in your system. It might be a little more time consuming. It might give you, what's that called? Where it kills your wrist? That one. But it is absolutely doable. And if you're only making one, system for a 4x4 bed, that's no sweat at all. I am making a drip system for a 100 square foot bed. The drill press was a lifesaver for me. So let's go see what this does. Okay, so this one is made of 7-foot runs of PVC. These long pieces are 7 feet. There's your T connectors, T connector. There's your elbow. Now here in this corner is the end of my system where I'm going to put this guy so we can have an inlet for the water. Now I already know that this piece of pipe right here is too long to put in that connector and connect it to this piece without popping the other pieces out of their joints. So I'm going to show you how to cut PVC using one of these fancy guys. Now this particular PVC cutter will cut up to, what's it say on it? 1 5/8 inch PVC. Now this is 3/4 inch. I've never personally dealt with anything larger than 1 inch PVC, but that's what it says it will do. Okay, now I'm gonna try and do this without shading you guys out. Momo, show in the way, kitty cat. Come sit over here. How this works. You pull the handle out and it pops out the sharp piece, okay? You're going to put the PVC in there and you're just going to crank it. And as you crank it, you can see it's closing the sharp piece that's going to eventually cut through the PVC. So, here is my length of PVC that's too long. Now it's not terribly too long, but it is too long. Now you can see it's going to cut straight through the center here. I'm not gonna lie, lining this up takes some getting used to. When you are doing a project and you're buying something like lengths of PVC, always buy a little bit extra because there's a learning curve anytime you're doing something new. Now I just need to take a little bit off. So here we go. And it's gripped. Boom. All done. Clip clop. Problem solved. Set that down. Next. Got my cute little T here. Now, you could easily use a hammer to pop these in place, make sure they're in nice and tight, which I also recommend. I just didn't bring the hammer over, so won't be doing that at the moment. So we've got our 90 in here. When the water comes in, it will go this direction, it will go this direction, and as long as I turn the water pressure up high enough, it will water the whole system. I'll show you that as well. Here's our hose connector piece. Sorry, get out of the sun here. You're going to take a length of PVC. This one's kind of short, but this is just for demonstration purposes. Little length of PVC hose connector piece. Boom. And now, where is my hose? Okay. Take my hose. There's leftover water in it. Now these are nice because the PVC piece screws on. You ever tried to use one of those hose connectors where you have to twist the hose and not the connector? Yeah, whoever invented that sucks. All right. Now, ideally what you could do here, which I will also end up doing, is putting in an elbow. I have one right here. In fact, let's do this. Let's take that off, put an elbow on. Oh, I need another piece of PVC. There we go. Now, you don't have to kink your hose. Let's turn this on and watch it water. Okay, now, water is on, and as you can see, maybe, assuming my shadow doesn't block anything here, let's come on this side of the sun. I have water coming out of my whole system all the way around. Maybe you can see that, maybe you can't. I am not quite sure because the sunlight is right on the screen. But, let's see here. Yep, there you go. See some water. Now, it's not coming out in, big long sprays all the way across the system. But I don't necessarily need it to either. Now, let's talk about the holes I drilled. The two center pieces, this piece and this piece, the holes drill through both sides of the PVC. So the water comes out of both sides of the PVC. My outside pieces, my two long pieces, where am I? My two long pieces on the outside and these connector pieces here, I only drill the holes through the one side of the PVC. I don't need water coming out this side of the PVC, watering the edge of the bed. So be mindful when drilling your holes, which pieces of PVC you need to drill the holes all the way through to the other side, and which pieces of PVC you only need to drill through the one side of the PVC. And that's it. Done. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope that was helpful. It really is simple. It is definitely a do-it-yourself situation. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. And remember, if you aim to thrive, at the very least, you'll survive.